Hello, good morning, and welcome. I have been debating about doing the Meteor book Freakout tag or not because I have not been reading a lot. But I do want to talk about some of these books. So I decided, yes, let's just do it. Even though some of the questions are not going to be, I'm not going to be able to answer, I'm still gonna go ahead and do it. We might skip some questions, which is totally fine from what I've seen with other creators. So I will leave the video where I got the questions from, and if you want to check them out, because I really been liking the videos that I've seen so far. But the video that I tagged is from Gavin Reads It All, and they have like all of the questions in there if you want to try this one. All right. While I'm doing that, I'm also going to show you my reading journal. It's not done. There's still a lot of things that I would like to get done with this one, but I am going to show you what I've done so far. And while I'm talking about some of these books, I am going to be filling in some stuff in here. All right. First of all, this is the book that I'm using this year. I did not go with one of my usual Archer and Olive notebooks that I use most of the time. This time I just took a notebook that I bought, I want to say Home Goods, and I decorated with some pretty paper that I liked. And it's divided in 3 sections. So the first section is just my writing. I'm writing about the books that I'm reading as I'm reading them. And then it's lined paper. The next section is my monthlies, and we have not been doing that a lot. The one that looks a little bit better is June. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. And then I created a cover page. And then the third part of the book is where I will be doing some of my spreads, where I have the Read Around the World, and then I will be creating some pages specifically for the books that I've read. All right, so that is the notebook, and now once I flip the camera, then I'll show you a little bit more clearly. But I would like to show you the books that I've read so far this year. I've read Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, The Message by Ta-Nehisi Coates, The Wild Robot by Peter Brown, Buffalo Dreamer by Violet Duncan, Squire by Sarah Afagi and Nadia Shamas. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. And I have read Witchlings 2, The Golden Frog Games by Claribel A. Ortega. I have also read some things from the library. I read the first volume of The Lumberjanes, which I put an image on the screen. I also read from the library Esperanza Rising by Pam Munoz Ryan. And just to give you a little bit of a recap, I am in the middle of Witchlings 3 by Claribel A. Ortega. That's book 3. Did I say book 3 already? I probably did. I am also in the middle of reading Mortal Follies by Alexis Hall. Sorry. And that's it. That's it. So my reading has not gone as usual as other years, but the only thing I have to say is out of the 8 books that I've read, I have loved all of them. And that's the best part about all of this. I'm not really interested in meeting a certain amount of goals in terms of numbers. I just want to enjoy what I'm reading, and I am loving what I'm reading. So that's a win for me. And all right, so I will flip the camera. We'll get started on this journal, and then I'll talk to you about my favorites. First question of the tag is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2025? And the best book I've read is Black Sun. Black Sun is, just like it says in the back, it's inspired in the civilizations of the pre-Columbian Americas. Rebecca Roan Horst is an indigenous author, and she created this amazing world, and I just cannot get enough of this. So much so that as soon as I finished reading, yes, I know there's a sequel, that yes, I know this is a whole series, but I just had to go back and kind of get a better grasp of everything that is this book, because there's a lot. There's just a lot, and I've made a couple of videos, and I do have other like small clips that I wanted to add, because as I was reading, I was, putting things together and realizing that this story is just so much more than just a fantasy novel. It has so many things embedded in it, and I just cannot get enough. And I don't know why this is not more popular than it is. I need more people to talk about this one, because even though it came out, wait a minute, it's been a few years, because the entire series has come out already. Maps 2020. So this came out in 2020. I heard a lot of people talking about it, but I have not heard as much praise as I think it deserves. That's just my opinion. But it is just an incredible story. We have 4 different characters, and the points of view goes back and forth between them, and you're finding a little bit more about each of them. And I love the way that she kind of like throws these characters at you. You don't know much about them, and slowly, by circumstances, you get to know a little bit more about them. It's just incredible the way that she tied everything together. We are in the city of Tova, and it's one of those novels that the characters are all spread out, and they're all going to be getting to the same spot at the end of the story, at the end of this book anyway. And you just follow their journey through trying to get here. And these are all very, very different people. We have, and I'm trying to see if I can show you in this one because it's in color, but we have the Crescency, and in part of the story we have Serapio. We begin with Serapio and his mother, and how this is this is the beginning. Serapio is only 12 years old. His mom is telling him what his destiny is, and this is how the whole setup starts. So we have Serapio and we have Ciala. Ciala is a teak woman, and she is the captain of a ship, and she's entrusted to take Serapio to Tova. And everything that happens in that journey. On the other hand, we have Narampa. Narampa is one of those characters that I was cheering for her the entire time. I had very high hopes for this character, and at the same time, I'm like, I just want to shook her a little bit, like, hello, come on. This is not right. So Narampa is a sun priestess, and we find out that she doesn't come from the high society. She comes from a very poor place in Tova, and somehow she makes it to becoming the sun priest. But the people around them are not willing to have things changed. They want things to go back to the way they always were. So they're trying to do everything they can to remove her from this position. And it's just so infuriating to see that she's not getting the drift until we made a very interesting character. We don't have a POV of this interesting character, which I'm not going to name it. But once we meet him, I'm really hoping that in the second book we get to find out about him. And then the other character is Okwa. Okwa is from Carrion Crow clan, and his mother is murdered, and now his story is going to be tied somehow to the sun priestess. So it's all a mess right now. We don't know where everybody is standing right now, but this is going to be so interesting for the next one. So I am including these. I am including some of the quotes that I found here in my spread, and I just don't know what else to say about this book except it has everything. It has everything I wanted in a fantasy novel. All right, the next question is, in the tag is favorite sequel, and I have read a sequel even though I have not read many books. I read The Golden Frog Games. This is Witchlings Book 2 by Claribel A. Ortega, and I am loving this series. I am currently reading book 3. I am about halfway through book 3, and I'm loving it. This is a middle grade book, so it is between the ages, it's perfect for between the ages of 8 and 12. But with any middle grade book, I would argue that there's no age limit for this one. I'm learning a lot by reading middle grade. I read middle grade because I have kids and I am teaching fourth grade. So this is, I want to read so I can have a variety and books that are diverse in my classroom, so that kids are learning about these stories. So I read it because of that, but I also read it because I love it, because they have so many things that you can learn from a middle grade book. But I mean, the friendship that they have between these girls, the love and support that they have, the support that their parents are giving them, and it's magical in every single way. There's a lot of heavy topics as well. For example, acceptance, and how the community sometimes doesn't see everybody as valuable. Discrimination and just society and all of the issues that comes along with it. But it's a very heartwarming story at the very end. And book 2 left with a kind of sort of like a cliffhanger, like we don't know what's gonna happen with one of the girls, and it's heartbreaking, and it's very good. I don't even know if I'm making any sense. I don't even know if I'm selling it to you guys. Alright, just to remind you, I'm skipping some of the questions because I do not have an answer for them. I can say the most anticipated book of the second half of the year, and I think there's already a cover of it out, but it will be the fourth book in the Witchling series. I cannot wait to finish the third one and then read the fourth book in the series. I'm loving this so much, and it's becoming my entire personality. So I'm pretty sure there's a cover. If there's a cover, I will show you guys the cover. But that would be my most anticipated book of the second half of the year. One of the questions is, what is the worst book you've read so far this year? And I don't have any, because I have, and I can show you now that I have it done. These are the books that I have read, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, and they are all great reads. They all have something so great about them. There's something that I've learned from them, and even my rereads, like Esperanza Rising, there's something new about that book that I've read. So I cannot say I have a worst book of the year. And yes, I do have only 8, but it's still a great feeling knowing that everything I've read, I've hand selected it in a way that I knew it was going to help me, and I knew it was going to be for me. The biggest surprise, I can't find my copy in English. Maybe I left it in my classroom, but my biggest surprise would probably be The Wild Robot, or in Spanish, Robot Salvaje. It's the biggest surprise because I read this one, so I can include it in my classroom, and it was just the biggest surprise. Oh, I have it right here. Right here. There we go. I have them both in Spanish and in English. Okay. But yeah, that's the biggest surprise. I don't have a biggest disappointment. Let's see. I don't have a favorite new author, I could say Clarabelle Ortega, but I mean, she was a favorite already, so it's not new. She's already a favorite. I could have also said Rebecca Roanhorse, but I already knew I loved her with Trail of Lightning, and so yeah, maybe those two, but I already knew from before, so they continue to be a favorites. Let's see, what other question can we answer? A book that made me cry. One that I cried almost through the entire thing is Buffalo Dreamer. Again, this is another middle grade book. This is another one that I read because I was trying to see if it would be a good one to include in my classroom. And it is so good. I'm just like trying to look at my notes, but not trying to look at it too deeply, because it will bring tears to my eyes again. So this is about a little girl named Summer. She is spending summer vacations in Canada like she does every year. And if you would like to read the synopsis of the book, it's right there. And she starts having dreams about the buffalo, and it talks about the relationship between the native children and or specifically Summer, between Summer and the buffalo. And there's a huge conversation here that is going on between Summer and her family about the residential schools. And she finds out that her grandparents were, in fact, taken to these residential schools. And it's, like I said, just thinking about it, it is a great read. It's an incredible read. This is by Duncan, the author, and yeah, it's about those children that live through being placed in residential schools and their survival, and then later on speaking about it. The audiobook, I do have the audiobook, and the audiobook is great because it will say the actual pronunciations of the words, but this is definitely the book that made me cry. And the next question that I have is the most beautiful book you bought this year. I mean, beautiful books. I've got a ton of beautiful books. Okay, this cover, I will forever be in love with this cover. Another one that I have not started, unfortunately, Impossible Creatures. I mean, look at this cover and the detail of everything. I mean, the detail on the inside, it's everything. I love it, and I can't wait to start reading this one. Let's see. I mean, I got tons of beautiful covers. Squire, another beautiful cover. And this is a graphic novel, so the illustrations on this one are amazing. If you're looking for a graphic novel that has a little bit of history. This is translated, I believe, and it's great. But yep, that's a beautiful cover. All right, the last question that I want to answer is, what are the books you need to read by the end of the year? And one of them that I'm going to mention is the second book to Black Sun. It's Fever Star. I want to finish, it's a trilogy. I want to finish the trilogy before the end of the year. That simple. I just need to finish it. And then I also decided that I was going to read An Ember in the Ashes by Sawa Tahir. This is I don't know how to say it. It's 4 books in this series. I know they have a name. But I found the book. This one is in the new gorgeous new covers. Can you tell that there's is that a tiger, panther? I guess maybe I'll know once I start reading the book. But oh, and in the border, look at that. Okay, so once I'm done with this series, I want to get into An Ember in the Ashes. And of course, I already mentioned that one, but I want to get to Impossible Creatures. And this is another middle grade. This is supposed to be a series too, and I don't know if I want to get myself involved in another series, but the book is so beautiful. Another book that I want to read is No Somos de Aquí by Jenny Torres Sanchez. I've had my eye on this book for such a long time, and I just need to get reading it. And I found it in Spanish, so I'm going to read it in Spanish. That is it for this tag. I hope you like the tag. If you have any questions about what I'm reading, leave them in the comments. Let me know what has been your favorite book this year, and what book you're looking to read before the end of the year. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.